I can feel your anger, your hatred. It gives me f***ness.
Steady on, old boy. Well, here we are. My blank wall and me. And the moment you guys want to stop banging on about it, maybe we can talk some ponies instead? Because with Friendship is Magic powering through its 4th season, seems I haven't curbed anyone's enthusiasm. But you know what? Hakuna Matata! Goodbye, horrible past, I say, and hello, halcyon tomorrow. As together, united, we can march boldly forth into a... The fudge is that? What's going on now? Blimey, Dickens! Is this a preview or something? Twilight, what are you doing to Pinkie Pie? Shake and bake! Did she just... When did this happen? I don't remember this! Oh, that one. I see what's happened here. What with your Sauron Sombers and your Equestria girls and your wild wang dang Twilight wingding, and I'm leaving this stupid fandom. You thought we'd all just forget about this one, didn't you, Hazzy? Well, mares and stallions, fillies and gentle colts, before we go anywhere, it's high time, don't you think, that we all just sat down and together took a good, long, hard look at the delicious layer cake of family-friendly wholesomeness that is too many Pinkie Pies. So our episode opens, it seems, with Twilight Sparkle playing God. But get your fill of it now, because I'm sure in no way is it a running theme or anything. Oh, but here's Pinkie Pie, who, one might recall, is clinically insane. And no disrespect, that's just the way she is, and we love her for it. At least I hope you love her for it, because you're about to get a lot of it. Whether or not she's acting more or less erratic than normal is a topic best left to smarter people than me, I suppose. But today, Pinkie confesses that all she wants to do is have some fun. With her friends, because, well, why not? However, now every single one of her friends is doing something interesting. Except for Rainbow Dash. Crack that whip!
I could watch this Pegasus whip that cloud for the rest of my life. Send help!
But of course, Pinkie Pie hasn't got time for such shenanigans. Well, not if she's going to spend the day trying to hang out with every single one of her friends simultaneously. At this, the subject suffers a complete nervous breakdown, and her brain is broken forever. Well, that's a colossal lie, obviously. Although she does look pretty upset for some pony who's just got too much of a good thing. Of course, here it's obvious to the pebbles on Neptune that all Pinkie really needs is to learn that even if they're not about anything terribly important, sometimes a body's just gonna have to make some tough choices. Unfortunately, this is also the part where the purple one says, "Oh, Pinkie, I'm afraid the only way you're going to pull something like that off is if there's more of you to go around." Which, of course, defibrillates the most reliable of natural disaster mechanisms, Pinkie's memory, from which she yanks the legend of the mirror pool.
That some say, deep within the dark forebodings of the forest ever free, it waits a static pond of liquid larks to ponies out for mischief's sake.
Fun fact, the Everfree Forest was originally, it's rumored to be, an evolving and ever-encroaching threat upon the citizens of Ponyville. Legend has it that Hasbro killed the concept for syndication reasons, but I always held out hope. Quite. Conjuring some arcane bedevilment of her own comprehension, Pinkie Pie then pulls off the Peculiar Pool's pluralistic party piece, and finds herself beside herself. But it's probably worth mentioning that it's not made perfectly clear what just happened exactly. Although it seems that now there are two of them. I think. But whatever! Following Twilight's logic, Pinky assumes that with her new best friend, she'll have more time to enjoy life, and I'm sure I've seen this somewhere before. For a moment or two, things seem to go swimmingly. Literally. And I mean that one of them actually goes swimming, in this case the word swimmingly being an apt description of the situation as it is, and as it is being the only definition of the word literally, unless of course you're Merriam-Webster's dictionary, and are therefore wrong. Oh, you've heard of this, right? Bear with me a moment, but is this really a thing? Do I have to put Merriam-Webster's group on the list now?
If a dictionary can't be trusted to stick to its guns in the face of extensive public ignorance and identify disputed words as something other than the diametric opposite of their factual definition,
then what's the point of having dictionaries? Unless, of course, this is some sort of elaborate ruse into forcing irritated nerds into publicly raising the issue. Well, mission accomplished, Websters. But you do realize what this means, yeah?
until you can convince the entire Western Hemisphere to watch this video as some sort of antidote to your wrong opinion.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
So anyway, Pinkie Pie's having a good day. Well, one of them is, but the other one isn't. Turns out there's still so much for Pinkie to do that two Pinkies can't. Never want to give up on a bad idea until it's someone else's problem. The Pinkies return to the place where we've learned that all of one's troubles are doubled. Oh, now there are 4 of them. Whoops, now there's a bunch of them. Holy cow, now it looks like they're cloning themselves, and wait a moment. It's fish! I know where I've seen this before. This is Multiplicity, the 1996 Harold Ramis comedy about cloning. Remember Multiplicity with Andy McDowell and Michael Keaton? It was this quirky little comedy in the 90s with the... Alright, so I'm old. Shut up. So, it's not my favorite movie. A little too extreme for my tastes. But the similarities between this 90s comedy and today's episode are in the multiples. Aside from the fact that Michael Keaton plays a lovable ditz, look at his face. Look at his Michael Keaton face. I love you, Michael Keaton! But in this one, he plays the none-too-bright protagonist who develops clones of himself under the assumption that it'll make his life easier. Shenanigans ensue, but don't really fire on all cylinders until the clones start making clones of themselves, and if you've seen this movie, you'll know that if it is indeed the inspiration for today's episode, well, it could do worse. A lot worse. Anywho, once she helps them get every pony's name straight, the herd, the horde, the flock, the pack, pride, swarm, gaggle, giggle. The giggle of Pinkie Pies then goes to town to have some fun.
How much fun?
All the fun. She consumes every bit of it. And oh, it's a riot. Much to the total consternation of the entire pony populace. Especially the mare, who's really bummed out, guys. At least I'm sure she would be if she weren't totally absent for reasons. I don't know, maybe she's dyeing her hair. So instead they'll go and bother Twilight about it for even better reasons. So the town's librarian doesn't know what to do, although she does stumble across some magic that, completely out of nowhere, affords her the ability to push the reset button on the whole thing. Yet, even more bizarrely, there's a danger that, in the process, we might also lose the original Pinkie Pie. Okay. At this point, it becomes imperative to Twilight Sparkle that she ascertain which one of these ponies is Pinkie Pie Prime. She talks to a depressed-looking one of them, whom I think we're entreated to assume is the original, although that's certainly not made clear, who herself comes up with an idea.
All Twilight need do is issue them a test.
And after one quick roundup, it's on like Donkey Kong. Today's challengers, a group of magically manifested doppelgangers, v Twilight Sparkle's personal identification and authentication challenge. And the trial today, drumroll please. Ooh, watching paint dry. That's gonna be a toughie. Will these hyperactive schizophrenics have what it takes to concentrate? Who or what will be the last Pinky standing, and does it actually matter? Celestia knows, but one thing's for certain, we're all in for some riveting television.
Meanwhile, in Egon Spengler territory, the Michael Keatons have also run amok, and Michael Keaton Prime has had enough. He's decided to move his clones to another city, to live on their own, far, far away, and oh, look at that. They even set themselves up in their own little pizzeria. Fun fact, when Michael Keaton first started to gain some fame, it soon became inappropriate for him to use his family name, because that one had already been taken by a guy who looks suspiciously like his own father. Sweet Luna Saltlick!
Meanwhile, back in Ponyville, the contest is ramping up as we're down to the last two. It's just incredible stuff, folks.
Yeah, so anyway, in a meltdown of irate boredom, Rainbow Dash tricks the second last Pinkie Pie into betraying herself, and it's all over.
There can be only one.
And apparently that one is Pinkie Pie.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Of course, this is also the part where the purple one says,
Knew you'd be up to the challenge.
"You what?"
Knew you'd be up to the challenge.
One more time. What exactly do you mean by that, Twilight? I mean, yes, obviously one of these ponies was going to be up to your deadly challenge of attrition and be the last one standing. But the danger was that you might accidentally use your mind bullets on the one you consider your friend, right? So, identifying who's who is vital, yeah? And you're absolutely certain you've done that with your super duper ultra scientific test right there, huh? Yeah, okay. Unless of course you're implying that you knew all along that this Pinky was the original. But if by some other means you had inkling one that this was authentic Pinkamena Pie, well then why didn't you follow up that lead before putting her life in jeopardy? So the Pinkies that you don't want aren't worth the air they breathe, but the one that you do want isn't worth making perfectly sure you don't inadvertently doom her to their fate? And when I say make perfectly sure, I mean perhaps by employing some logic that doesn't hang precariously on the vain hope that not all of the contestants want it as badly as the original? Or that the original won't be momentarily distracted by forces beyond her control? Something other than a test that leaves no room for appeal and isn't based on any of the facts? You know, like maybe a test of common knowledge might? These Pinkies did seem to have a problem with names, yeah? No, I know it's a stretch, but perhaps before you go emceeing the staring competition of doom, how about trying, say, oh, I don't know, asking them some questions? How you doing? Or if it comes to that, simply find out if only one of them can wield Pinky's harmonious necklace of elemental laughter. Yes, alright, knock it off, you got me. See, this is one rare instance where I will concede that wheeling out the elements of harmony might actually make some sense. I mean, at this point I'll take anything, since this test conclusively proves nothing. It proves nothing! Did Pinky make it? Does any pony know? How do they know? Twilight Sparkle doesn't know, because Pinkie Pie herself doesn't seem to know. And we sure as shootin' don't know. Oh yes, because even if we're inordinately generous and just take it for gospel that this depressed Pinky we saw earlier and was later found poking her hoof in the ground really is the original, there are, perplexingly, no cues, visual or otherwise, to set it straight that she didn't turn out to be this Pinkie Pie, or this Pinkie Pie, or even the one that Rainbow Dash tricked. But hold on to your forks, kiddies. It gets better. You see, since how this magic works is made clear as mud, there's just no way of determining precisely what Twilight Sparkle's doing. Is she undoing a powerful replication spell that's merely created a bunch of soulless simulants? Or is her incantation a new form of magic capable of destroying sentient life? Well, if Pinkie Pie Prime really is in danger, then the latter must be true to some degree. So, here's your 20-second round sudden death tiebreaker. What inviolable force has determined that the rest of these Pinkies don't have the right to live? Other than that maybe they're annoying. In fact, the only thing known for a certainty is that no matter what the source of their mojo, each of these mares, every one of them, is in a staring competition for her life.
Gosh, look at them. It's almost as if they don't want to leave us.
In the final moments of the edgy, grown-up Harold Ramis comedy, we learn that the duplicates are sent off to a land far away, wherein they may live the rest of their days in peace as free and individual siblings, making people happy by selling them baked goods. In the Pony Show, they die. Whip it. Whip it real good.